up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm DJ DeVille, and this is Late Night Legends, and we actually have a very special guest, a legend in the building, DJ Vice. Thank you for being here. Yep. And we've got DJ Exile, we got DJ Icon. So it's a pleasure to be with you guys all at one table right now, and we're diving deep into nightlife culture. And actually, this is a little bit more of a serious subject that I think we can all relate to is drinking and DJing. And even just nightlife in general, like what all comes with it. And I think us all being veterans at different levels, all different experiences, different regions of the country, and all the social pressures that come with it. I think this is a really important thing to talk about because there's a lot of DJs that struggle with this stuff, and I think it's very valuable to hear it from people that have been through it and understood how to convert that into a positive thing and continue on with your career with a new mindset and a new wisdom. So obviously, first and foremost, welcome to the podcast, Vice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's it's awesome to be here. And I understood you just played Excess last night, right?
I played Excess, yeah. So my ears are ringing like crazy. The one thing I have not learned how to do is wear earplugs still. We can talk about that later. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of DJs can resonate with that.
Was it cold there last night? I know
it was good, man. Vegas has good weather right now.
See, I feel like it's springtime already. Spring has sprung. So it's great. Yeah. So, I guess one of the first things I just want to know about is because I'm from the Midwest, and I didn't really understand a lot of your background. Obviously, we all know who you are. We know your accomplishments, but I want to know a little bit more of your origin story to kind of set the stage for the evolution, how you started as a DJ, just obviously in radio, also in the clubs. And then when you saw the alcohol social pressures kick in, that's one of the first things that's really important, right? So I just want to ask you that first. Like, where did you start seeing alcohol kick in throughout the early part of your career?
Yeah. So I learned about, I saw I saw what DJing was. I got 9 or 10 years old, which is very wild. I'm 46 right now. Saw it at a very early age at a family house party, and I was like, whatever that is and whatever that dude is doing, I want to do that. It's kind of like I was related to someone seeing Kobe play or Jordan play for the first time. I want to be a basketball player. I saw a DJ and I was like, I want to do that. And I realized it was because he was controlling the room and creating happiness. Oh yeah. Literally was just creating happiness between people that knew each other and people that didn't know each other, all through music. And I didn't understand what it was, but I was just like, I want to do that. That looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
So at 12 years old, I was lucky enough to be introduced to someone that was a DJ, and they showed me what turntables were in a mixer, and they're like, this is what you do and this is how you blend records. So this is in this is in 1991. I was shown that. And in 1992. I was
born in 91.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. He looked at me real quick. In 92, I got my first turntables and mixer, and they were belt drive and crappy, and my mixer had sound effects like a laser and a fart noise and stuff like that. There was I had to just figure it out, and I was just all into just being the best party rocker of a room. It didn't matter at that age. I wanted to play high school dances, weddings, quinceañeras, ditching parties were a thing in high school. I did DJ my basketball games at the school. Everything and anything I could DJ, I was in. I didn't care about getting paid. I was just give me enough money to buy a couple more records, something like that.
Well, and also too, what was the music during that time frame?
Yeah,
especially in your region, because I want to know that being a Midwesterner. So what were you playing? What was killing it?
So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. So at the time, I listened to a lot of radio, which was Power 106, a station that I loved and I grew up on through my sisters and my brother. And they were playing, at the time, they were playing house and hip hop. It was LA's party station.
Yeah.
So my view on DJing was you got to be able to play both genres. You got to be able to play house and hip hop. And then at the same time, my siblings were into The Cure, Depeche Mode, Pat Benatar, Journey, and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, well, if I play the house party or the wedding, I got to be able to play all that. So I learned how to kind of just mash and blend all those together. Yeah. It was mashup before I even knew what mashup was. Awesome.
So
all.
It's a true open format early on for you.
Yeah.
That's
open.
Great.
It was open format because I had to, because I was playing weddings and family parties at that as a kid. So, but coming out of high school, I got the chance to audition for Power 106 in LA radio and right when I graduated high school, I got on the radio, and at the same time they flipped formats and they became a hip hop station.
Okay.
So it was only hip hop. So I was like, I knew how to play house, I knew how to play alternative, I knew how to play all this stuff, but I just went straight into like hip hop Vice mode.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of branded in a way at the time as a hip hop DJ.
That was my question. Were you boxed in because of that?
Yeah, but I liked it because it was like I could do it in my mind. I was like, I could do whatever. I can adapt. Like and that's kind of like why I'm still where I'm at, because I'm able to adapt and change up my style. I think that's why all of us are unique as open format DJs, because that's been our mindset
100%.
Throughout our career, I would think.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Sure.
Did it affect your bookings? Because like, were you primarily booked
Yes,
for hip
I have
hop
a
for a
little
while?
funny story I could just like throw in.
Yeah,
It's like, when I got my first, so I got on radio 97. It was a great era. 97.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, and then into the early 2000s, Kanye coming to the radio station and bringing Through the Wire and jumping on the table and performing it for like 7 DJs. And we're like, what is this guy telling us he's going to be the biggest rapper in the world? Like, this guy's out of his mind, dude. It was like, and then Nelly coming in with like a little Band-Aid or like, and they're like, this guy's what?
You saw it at the very beginning.
Suge Knight coming in to bring us records. And like, I got to see all this stuff as a kid. Like Timbaland coming in and the Neptunes. And like
At
it
the
was
height-
at the height, and going into like studio sessions with these people and like seeing this shit like was like mind blowing. So and pre-social media, right? So we couldn't really like take pictures and do all this, which is like everything soaking it in. But I got to live through that era, and in that I went to judge a DJ battle because I was a radio station DJ, and in that battle was DJ AM. And I judged the battle that DJ AM was in.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, and that's how I didn't know who he was, didn't know what he did.
So that's how you met him?
That's where I met him.
Wow. What year was this?
It was in, this was probably like the year 2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was in a battle, and I didn't know anything about him, and he was cutting up. He's like the funky white boy, like that. I was like, this guy's dope. And he didn't win the battle. I think he came like in second or something like that. But we like
second.
I
Wow.
think second or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
He didn't win it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we just like, oh, cool. And I didn't know anything he did. And you gotta think in LA, like such a big city, and there's so many different like niches of parties and scenes. And I was in the radio scene, but Adam was in the Hollywood scene, and I didn't know anything about that. So I go to this Hollywood club with some girl I was dating at the time that was way out of my league. And she brought me to this club, and I'm like, yeah, we can go to clubs. Like, I DJ clubs. And she brought us out there, and I'm like, I don't know how to get in, right? She's like, I'll get us in, right? And she gets me in this club, and I walk in, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't know this scene. What is this? This DJ sounds like it's like a wedding DJ on steroids, like mashing through like all these genres. And I was like, this is sick. Like, because I had never heard it put together. And I look up and it's AM. And I'm like, that's the dude I judged the battle.
Wow.
I know who that is. And I ditched her and I walked up, and then I met Adam in the club, and I started DJing with them that night. And we became friends. Yeah. But going back to your question, to let you know if it affected me, like being a hip hop DJ, was I got to cover for one of AM's gigs, like when we first kind of met, and I went in there and I started playing hip hop, and they looked at me like, don't play that radio station hip hop. We don't want to hear that here. But I was like, Adam played that the last week. What are you talking about? But you're pigeonholed. You're like, nah, you're a radio DJ. We don't want to hear that.
So there's a power of perception there. I mean,
total. And I think that still happens to this day, right? It's like we're open format DJs, and maybe an EDM DJ comes into the scene and throws in 4 hip hop records, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so insane!" Wow, we're like, bro, we've been doing that. What are you talking about?
Like that's about TikTok DJs. I like they're doing this. You're like, bro, I've been doing this. What is going on? Like,
what do you mean? Like, So I think there is like a huge power of perception.
Well, because like even with AM, because I'm a super fan of him as well, but also for being a very distant fan, not understanding and connecting to the culture. I never got to go to a banana split. I never got to see any of that stuff. I mean, was he always considered like it seemed like he was the cool kid DJ, like he was cool. Like the cool kid that hangs out in the corner in high school. He was just like, he doesn't hang out with anybody else. He's just cool on his own. Is that fair to say? Because he could get away with so much because he was the cool kid.
I think he was the nerdy DJ cool kid, right? What you said as well?
Yeah, especially from like, so I played with him when he went to Pure. I opened for him for like 2 years, and we got to know each other. Not like you guys knew each other, but I knew him. And I would definitely say like you put it best. Like that's exactly like how I was, especially if you got him like talking about DJing. man, he would love to just go in like the technicality of it and like ideas and how he thought about it and the way he would put it together.
Well, he's like an
and
encyclopedia.
it was so
he had
interesting.
just a high level of thinking across tonality, connecting dots of things that you would never otherwise connect dots on. He heard something.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. And also coming back to the Hollywood side of the parties. This is another question I have. I never got to really party in LA at any point. When it comes to drinking and other things, we'll just leave it there. I mean, is it not so much heavily on drinking? Is just like casual? Is it casual drinking? Because being where I'm from, alcoholism is crazy. Like from a very early on. I mean, you're drinking at 16. And it's just the rest of your life.
Small town mentality?
Like, oh yeah,
is that
just
what it is?
Wisconsin mentality. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. Is like so in other cities where because it may not be as so heavily programmed into the social construct. Did you not necessarily see that so quickly? Because there's so many things going on in entertainment in general. It's not always appropriate to be drinking nonstop.
Good question.
So like, how did you interact? How did you see that evolve as you became a professional?
I think. Well, I feel when I went from like the radio station clubs and like that mainstream side of like, jumped into the mainstream Hollywood scene. I was still so much in the mindset of like, I want to be a really good DJ. Like I still had that young-minded mentality of like, I want to play the best set. I want to be like 3 records ahead in my mind. I want to like understand this room and watch the crowd and see if. And that was the first time I DJed for bottled service customers. I had the radio station scene didn't have that. And then I go into this other world where I'm like, oh wait, these are tables of people sitting down and spending crazy amounts of money.
What year is this, by the way?
This is 2002,
Okay.
Yeah, by like 2002,
Okay.
I got to witness like what bottle service was.
Yeah,
and
that was the
also
beginning
like,
of it. That was
Really?
the first
Oh,
years,
yeah.
right?
I thought it was my era.
We even saw that in the Midwest. So it was like all of a sudden it was cool to have a table.
Oh, too.
So,
Yeah.
but that was
Okay.
obviously
Yeah.
LA and Vegas were the
It
originators.
was, and it was celebrity out, right? It was like
Yeah.
all these like celebrities are still in there, like A-list celebrities, because there was no social media, so there was no pictures taken, so they could still be out. You see like the top, there's
Yeah.
a Leonardo DiCaprio and a Paris Hilton and a Hugh Hefner and I was actually
Studio 54.
Yeah,
It's been
wild.
2000.
Yeah, it was
Dope. That's dope.
Yeah, so I still didn't drink really. Yeah, I had drinks here and there, but I didn't drink until like Adam got a residency here in 2004, Body English Open.
Yeah. Because I moved here 2004, Rain opened. Yeah, so right at the end of 2004, New Year's of 2004 is when I think they opened.
They did.
Yeah.
2004,
Yeah.
and Adam got the residency. AM was the resident of Body English, which was the former Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas, and he was the Saturday night residency. And he literally was like, "I'll get you Friday nights," and he helped me open the door and got me in on Friday nights.
That's huge.
And when I got Friday nights there, is when like alcohol started coming my way, because that was like bottle service to the extreme. Like, this is where people are really spending money. Like, yeah.
What year is this again? So
this is 2004.
Now it's 04 now.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And the funny part about it is, it's funny to me, is like, I remember like we had EP.1, who's a friend of like ours from our early Vegas days, and DJ5 and all them, and like some of them were like, oh, and the host would come up like, what do you want to drink? And I would say this all the time. I go, oh, I don't drink. I'm DJing. And they're like, hey, have a drink. Like, what do you want? And I would order a vanilla Stoli and pineapple. It's like, and that's exactly what they would do. They were like, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, I just have all that, like a Midori sour. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it just tastes good. Like, I would like nurse one the whole time, because I was like, I don't want to drink. I want to DJ. Like, I wasn't there to party. I was really in that mindset.
Wow.
Then customers started, you meet them and they're like, we want to buy you a bottle. And you're like, oh, okay. It's like a $800,000 top. It's like, you're like, what are you supposed to say? No?
Right.
They're spending money in the club. So then they come and
Yeah.
they bring a shot, and it's just like, and I was like, oh, I don't really drink like this. And I guess the Mexican in me came out. I was like, we'll drink tequila. Like, so then Patron, and I was like, boom. And then you start feeling, oh, damn, this is what it's like. Oh, damn, these records sound good. Like, damn, I played this song 100 times. Sounds way better now. Damn, I like my set. Like, you're like, yeah, you just start, that numbingness is like, feels
even
good.
when you said like early on when you were young and you're watching like a wedding DJ make people happy, that's part of the reason they were happy.
That's why.
And now then now all of a sudden there's this is like the innocent part of the transformation, right? Where you're appreciating being on that peer level with your own dance floor, right?
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden Did you feel like there was almost, after a certain point, there's an obligation. I need to be on that wavelength.
And you feel connected with them,
100%.
Oh, yeah.
the crowd. You're like, oh, we're all in this now. Like, we're all melting together. This is good, right? Yeah.
So that's all of a sudden now it's a social obligation, especially in Las Vegas, because like when you got a guy that's spending $100,000 on a table, you can't say no, right? I mean,
especially
that's
like
powerful concept.
Yeah,
You gotta think like
you're in Pure. That was a big club.
I was gonna say like at that time frame, you had that was the rise of the mega club, right? You had Pure opened up, first club to
Tao.
be booking. Yeah, Tao. You had Rain. You had Body English. You had Light. And so these were the first clubs at the time that really promoting, like bottle service on a high end. And to your point, like the obligation, like there was absolutely, I mean, at least I felt it. Like you would come in and club owners were enablers back then. It was like the Wild West. This wasn't like corporations. These were people that were like, we're here to make money. We want you to party. We want you to facilitate the party. You are the one that's going to do it. You're going to drive it.
Yeah.
We're going to bring people into the DJ booth and you're going to make them smile. And you had to. And they would give you whatever you needed to make that happen.
Yeah.
Bottles,
Anything.
more bottles,
You're
more
the
bottles
poster
after
child.
that.
You're the poster child up there.
Yeah.
They're, if they look up at you and you're having that much fun and you're drinking,
Yep.
they're going to have that much
Yeah.
fun. It's
Yes.
kind of like that was the perception.
Yeah.
that
You're the cheerleader of the
felt.
club.
100%.
Yeah. And all of a sudden it's not, and all of a sudden the music takes a second fiddle to the debauchery.
I'm like 2 records behind now. I was like, used to be like 3 records, then now I'm 2 behind.
Yeah.
You know that last 3-second Serato rush?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that game when he shot, you're like,
Yep.
got it. Like, it probably was like
Yeah.
you missed, but in your mind, you're like, hit it. Got
Yep.
this one,
Yo,
man.
what's that story you say you got about?
Oh, actually,
Rice?
it's funny you should say that because this is you DJing sober at Tao. Because remember, I opened up for you like back 7 or 8 years ago, and I was watching you the whole time. This is the first time I got to watch you from the laptop vision, and you're a last minute decider. Anyways,
Completely.
and you gave me so much anxiety,
Game time.
and you just clutched it every single time. You're making decisions 10 seconds before 2 bars in, and you had that 2 bar cue point. Bam, perfect mix.
Crazy.
You must have did that 8 times in the night. I was like, "Are you gonna play a song? Oh, he's gonna play a song. Oh, you
Boom.
stressed me out, and you had it every time." I was
Yeah,
like,
but yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Okay, I was.
So I think
on-
that's just
I
your
was
style,
right
too.
there. But then now I'm like way ahead. Now because I'm not drinking, I'm like way ahead.
But you were
now.
sober. You were completely
Oh, yeah, I
sober.
was
You're just
sober.
last minute decision making.
My
It's just,
tour manager at times would tap me, and it was like a tap that I know I had like 15 seconds left.
Yeah.
He'd be like, and I'd be like, oh yeah.
It's because you were mingling while drinking before.
I was part of the party.
No, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
We're
We're having your talk. Yeah, I'm
That's
pouring. I just had a funny story told to me. It was one of the chain smokers, Drew, was like, man, I met you before I was in the chain smokers, and you were pouring me shots in the DJ booth while you were DJing in New York, and you
Crazy.
were like having me kick it because I was a DJ, and you were just pumped to have me there as a DJ with you. And I was
That's
like,
great.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that was me.
I was like, sounds good. We're all having a good time. Yeah,
Did
and
you
it was fun.
Feel pressure though, like I gotta be the party guy that I go to.
did.
That's my energy. That's who I am, bro.
Yeah.
If not, I'm gonna lose my identity. Did you feel like that?
For sure, because I not only was like pulling in bottle customers and they were there to like party with me and drink with me, and on top of that, then I had brand partnerships. I was a Clase Azul brand ambassador
Yeah.
for 5 years, and like there's a bottle there and I'm drinking, so it's like
Before it was cool, by the way, because I remember when
before
you
it was
first
cool.
announced
It wasn't on
you
the
didn't
menus.
know what Clase Azul was.
No, it wasn't on the
That's
menus
dope, that's
yet.
dope.
I brought it into nightlife,
Yeah.
so it was like. It's expected, right? And I think you said it earlier. It's like the owners, even in some of these venues we go to, are like, let's drink before you even start working. And we're like, I think it's only strippers and DJs that have to do that.
Yeah.
Where we're like, let's drink and then get out there and
Yeah.
work. We're like, that's it.
And you know what's funny? It's like,
I mean, think what other job do you
Yeah.
go?
So true.
Bartenders don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
you look at like 2000, probably I'd say like 2002 to like probably 2015. Like you almost built your brand on being, so you kind of had the 2 types of people, right? You had the like nerdy AM people who were very niche and they would get booked, but then there was like everybody else, and it was almost like you built your brand on being the party guy. I know I built my brand on that. Like people would book me. I was never going to be the best DJ. I was never going to be 5. I was never going to be AM. I was never going to be Vice, right? But that was okay because I was the party guy. And my whole brand was built on that.
I can relate to that.
You know what I
can
mean? Like, and that's like a lot of people. And then talk about pressure. Like when you're that guy, you don't even have the ability to say no. You can't go somewhere and be like, oh, I'm not feeling it tonight.
That's like closing the doors of the club.
Yeah, they're like, well, that's like why we booked you. Like we want you to get wheeled out in a wheelchair. Like that's our story. Like for tomorrow. Like
you want to go to horror stories now?
Well, actually, before we get to the horror stories, I do want to talk about like all these clubs you just mentioned. Like let's rattle them off again. We got LAX, we had Light, we had Rain, we had Pure, Tao. All these clubs, like in some of these clubs were kind of like pre-facing the boiler room, right? Because there was room in these clubs. Even Body English, that was a big booth, if I remember correctly. There wasn't enough people to pack in there. Your homies could be in there, your friends.
Oh, it was packed.
You have girls up there. And that in itself is a social pressure. Because now all of a sudden we need bottles because we have to be hospitality to all these people in the booth. I'm going to have 12 people in the booth. Like, especially at Light, that was a huge club and with a huge DJ booth. Tao has moved around a couple times, but if I do remember, like there's always room to have an entourage in the club. So all of a sudden, now you have to have bottles in there, and there's always going to be somebody that starts pouring it straight to the head. There's always going to be like that, let's run another one and unlimited tabs. You can do all those things. So that in itself causes an issue because even if you didn't feel like drinking, you kind of have to.
Oh, and this kind of goes to like, like you probably won't understand this, but you guys definitely will. So when you first started, like when I first started, you didn't have like local nights. You had Friday, Saturday. Vegas started local nights, and all of a sudden that was like the rise of like the entourage. Like not only were you expected to roll in with 100 people, you had to have a guest list, and you had to be entertaining to those people on local nights. So you had
nightclubs were asking for this?
Yeah, this was like I would say probably right when Bilingual was the first like local night that really like
Sundays,
yeah, with AM. That was the one that like put local nights on the map.
So now you're drinking not just Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
It's sometimes Sundays, Tuesdays, Mondays.
And then like the local night was kind of like that was on you had to drink. Like you had to be like that guy. Like it was
Yeah, I got a hangover thinking about it. It's true though, and especially out here, there was a time where it was Monday through Sunday. There was a hot night every single night of the week, and that's when I was coming out here the most. I think I think in my mind the pinnacle of just everyone was in nightclub mode at some point in their life. It was like that 09 to 15. I feel like those were the highest frequency points of like the DJs from every corner of the world were headlining it on every billboard. There was not one non-EDM billboard on the strip at one point. Remember that?
Yeah.
You could go. It was just Avicii, it was Afrojack, David Guetta, Tiesto. Everybody was just down the road. There was no magicians.
I do have I also looked at it like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I looked at it like it was really like the open format scene that were really drinking heavily.
Yeah.
Because you go and you saw Tiesto, you were drinking stuff, but it wasn't like we were chugging out of bottles. We were going hard. Yeah, there's like a John Summit now, and you see that a little bit. But like majority of the EDM guys were coming in and like taking the bag. They were getting the money and they were working on music. And I think there was the way, but it was like the open format scene was so like it was like you have to drink to make it. It was like I guess like a stigma that like if you didn't do it, you're not gonna make it.
Do you think
I would say I was part of that. That was probably part of my probably what I brought into the scene in many ways. Because once AM passed and he wasn't in Vegas, and I'm doing a lot of these clubs, and I'm over here promoting alcohol, promoting drinking, and I'm getting all the gigs. Like I'm playing all over the place. I'm playing all these things, and everyone's like, well, Vice is wasted every night. Like I can be wasted every night too and get all the gigs too. It's like I actually do. It bothers me in ways because it is a shitty type of. It's not very inspiring for up and coming DJs to look at a DJ and be like, wow, they're a hot mess up there DJing and they're getting paid to do that.
See, like I would I'd not argue with you, but I would say a different perspective on that would be you laid the roadmap for me in my generation. Like I was like that one right below you, right? But I looked up to you like when I first came on because of that. It was like you could look at DJing when I first started as like a popularity contest, right? The popular guys got booked. you were super popular, you were super good. Okay, there's the formula. Go out there, be a good DJ, be super personable, but also drink.
Yeah.
But you, at the time too, there weren't stories of you like leaving the DJ booth and not coming back or whatever, right? Like, you handled it. It was awesome. Like, I remember going and listening to you and being like, dude, this is so good. Like, fuck, this is great. So there was never that, like, you never saw the bad side of it. Right. It was always like just a positive. Like, fuck, these clubs are going to like give us bottles. Oh my God, I can bring my friends. They want me to do that. Yeah. And I get to play music and I get to be fucked up. And you kind of laid that roadmap for all of us to kind of see, but it made us all successful also. So a different perspective was like, for you, it might bother you, but for us, it was like, man, you paved the path for us to all be successful.
But at the same time, we thank you. And then we also don't get to see after the party, right? What we all go through, and like the day of a hangover, the day of like depression, the day of telling yourself, oh, why did I shouldn't have drank that much. Oh, I blacked out. Oh, I don't even want to look at my Serato history and see what I played. And I wouldn't. I would be like, just don't do it.
It was like an ignorance, like, I just
don't
can't.
look.
I played that song how many times?
Not knowing. Yeah.
How about the text messages? Like, oh, dude.
And also, like, granted, we didn't have social media, Instagram stories, Snapchat, and a lot of that, so we didn't get caught. So it's like, like all the mess of like, oh, that was you being sloppy on that. Like, it was just like, a lot of it got, pushed under the rug.
Well, there's also it's now let's see seeing how production value went up with the nightclubs, right? Now all of a sudden it's not just the focus on you being a spectacle and the cheerleader of the event. Now you have support, because like when Marquee opened up, for example, that like they changed the game for production, right? Because even at Excess is a beautiful nightclub, but back when they first opened, it was more of a sexy environment that just wrapped around you. There was no front of house. There was no stage. So now you've got a spotlight on you, looking straight at you. You are Tiesto. You are whoever the legendary status is of any DJ that comes in there. The spotlight is on you all night. So did that affect your decision making of like maybe taking it straight to the face with the bottle if you got a spotlight in your front of house and you are the focal point the entire time?
Opening night Marquee, I got wasted, blacked out, and they almost they were like, you never can come back doing that again. I was like so excited. I was like, this room's insane. Like blackout. Like, it was
so the energy took you to another level.
Were you able to finish though? Or like, what was the problem? Like, hey bro, I just
drink way too much. Like, it's just going back into that, mindset of like, we play a lot of the same music over and over and over, and it's so much better when you're drinking. Like, it's just, you're like more immersed in the crowd, and you're like, I know what they want right now. I can feel this. And I can see on the flip side now, I know what they want, and I'm completely, alcohol free up there DJing. Like, I feel, so I can, it's not that.
So actually, let's rewind now. Let's think about that innocent moment you had, like, hey, I'll just have a Maduri sour.
Yeah.
To, oh, I get 3 bottles tonight in the booth by default.
Yeah.
Like for you and anybody else that comes in. So when did you become self-aware? Because I was not self-aware for a very long time. I did not admit I had an alcohol problem till about 5, maybe 6 years ago.
I think a lot of us don't.
It's because I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a DJ that drinks while I'm working.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really drink on my off time. I never did that.
Neither did I.
I was only on duty.
Yeah. So look, it's very common thread.
At bars or when you eat, right? It's only when you're DJing.
Like it's just I have a social obligation. So
I don't even have alcohol at my house. I would never, ever in a million years go home and be like, oh man, you know what I want to do today? I want to have a drink. Not even once, not once. But you go to work and it's like, boom. I cannot even imagine. Like first thing you walk in, you say hi to everybody, you go straight to the bar with everybody.
Yeah,
let's go.
Have a shot, right?
It's weird, right?
Drink at home, nothing. It was only DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife would be like, open a bottle of wine. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Wine? Or what? Tastes like church.
Bring out the sparklers with it.
Yeah. She was a cocktail waitress. I should ask.
There you go.
Down.
But so was there a threshold point where you started to realize the stakes are higher and you're still kind of lost in the sauce and that pattern can't keep up? What was that threshold moment for you? Or was it gradient or was it a hard line?
I tried stopping one year, the year that I think it was I don't know. I just remember one year I was like, I'm going to stop. And I quit drinking for a year straight. And I was like, oh, wow, this is good. And this is probably this is 13, 14 years back. So it was a while back, 13, 14 years back. And I did a full year. And I remember I got through it and I was like, oh yeah, this is good. I think I crossed the threshold of a year and it was my birthday party and little John showed up and little John said, Vice isn't drinking. Let's get him to drink on the mic. And I was like, damn.
I think that's the ultimate social pressure.
And I was like, damn, man. All right, it's little John, still peak era, like crunk.
Oh man.
And I was like, yeah, let's go. And I was back. Like, and I also, I'm glad that happened in many ways because it showed me now where I'm at. Like, I'm either all in or all out with drinking. I can't dabble in, like, have a drink here and there, a glass of wine, a sake with some sushi. I know myself now. I'm either all in or all out with alcohol. So I'm glad that happened in that moment because from now that I've, kicked alcohol about to hit 4 years, that I've got to see, two sides of it as well.
It's been 4 years already.
About to hit 4 years.
I remember you starting the jogging journey.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem that long ago. Man, time flies.
7 years for this. Jogging sounds a little old, but running.
Running. Yeah, running. Jogging is casual.
If that's what they do in Wisconsin, I'm jogging.
I'm just a jogger. I'm not running anywhere. But to bring that back, the point, you said it's all or nothing. I'm the same exact way. I mean, how do you guys feel? Like, are you an all or nothing, or can you just have one?
Nothing in my life is a little bit. Everything in my life is like 0 to 100. And like, I have like tunnel vision. I don't know if you guys like this, but it's like DJing. Like once I wanted to do it, it was like, that's what I want to do. Practice 8 hours a day. My roommates are mad at me because I'm practicing all the time. Alcohol was no different. It was like, oh, this is fun. I'm all in on that. Like this is awesome.
Well, Exile, what do you think? Like, how do you feel?
That we're relating that. I don't drink at dinner with my wife. I don't drink at home. I only drink when I'm DJing. I thought I was the only one. So I think it's crazy.
It is kind of a tendency with DJing.
And it is 0 to 100. It's either I don't drink at all or I'm only when I'm DJing. But when I'm DJing, it's, bro, I'm going crazy.
Okay, now let's talk about nightmare stories.
Yeah.
Should I start or should I finish? Because I guess it's interesting because I think one of the first times I really realized I'm like, holy shit, I have an actual problem was I was in Fort Myers, I was DJing, and I went through the whole night. Pretty good. I think I had two vodka sodas all night, and I was fine. And then the promoter comes up and asks if I want to finish the bottle with him. And keep in mind, I didn't hardly drink that bottle. So there's 2/3 of a bottle left, and we basically split that 2/3 between us. And it hit me so fast because I didn't eat dinner. And they had to carry me out of the club within 40 minutes of me doing that. I literally poisoned myself.
Yeah.
And I barely got my paycheck. I barely figured out how to put it in my bag. The promoter and the owner had to carry me to an Uber, and then they got me there. The hotel people didn't know what to do with me, so I crawled up the stairs with my bag like it was like Wolf of Wall Street style. I crawled up, and then I was laying in a fetal position, as far as I can remember, in the middle of the hotel lobby, and they had to bring me up and put me in the shower with my clothes on. They just turned it on.
A great
nice
hotel,
novel.
by the way.
And they left the shower on. Yeah. And then I woke up like an hour and a half later, just with warm water hitting me, soaking wet. And I'm like, and I had to get up the next day to go to another gig. And I'm like, I had to pull over 3 times on the highway. It was real bad, real bad. And that was like the first time I'm like, okay, something really does need to change. That was an eye opener for me. But that was one of many first moments, but I don't know if you have any interesting stories. I'm sure.
I mean, I the one that really sticks out to me is, so I remember I fly to Sacramento Saturday night. We get annihilated, and I used to have this really bad problem where when I would drink, like if I had like an early flight, for some reason, like I would get really drunk, go to my hotel room, pack everything, and I would sleep for like an hour, get up freaked out, and I'm just shit faced. Take a taxi or an Uber to the airport, and then I would sleep in front of the gate. And I remember, so I do that, right? And I get like an hour sleep, get up, I'm like still drunk, get on the flight, go to White Republic, play there during the day, drank all day. I think you guys were actually, well, Alex, he's sitting on the side, but he came and he was with me. We go to Bank Sundays, and so back then, like they would literally, like the owners were like enablers. Like they really wanted you to be the life of the party, right? They give you whatever you want. Yeah. So just sitting there, we're just drinking, we're stacking up shot glasses, and we just got these 3 rows of just like giant stag glasses. Yeah, it was crazy. So I remember at this point I black out. I go down to the bathroom, and for like 2 hours, nobody can find me. Thank God I was playing with Karma. Karma's like DJing. Everyone's looking for me. Nobody can find me. Finally, security is like, hey, has anyone checked the bathroom? And so the security guy goes down there, and I'm passed out asleep. So this is so ridiculous. My pants are down by my knees. I am like holding the toilet like this. My ass is in the air, and I'm asleep on the toilet. There's like puke everywhere. So they get me up, but nobody thought to be like, hey, does he have his keys? Or sorry, nobody thought to like call somebody to like come get me. So I go to valet. I get my car. Valet gives me my car.
Wow.
Whoa.
I drive to this spot. I park my car, I call a taxi, and I go home. The next day I get up, and all of a sudden, my wife Kelly's like, hey, we got to go get your car. And I'm like, cool. So I think it's in valet. We drive to valet. It's not there. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I wonder if maybe I left it at Wet Republic Valet. So we go to Wet Republic Valet. It's not there. And I'm like, well, maybe it's in a parking garage because I got it out of valet, and I don't know where it is. So I'm not kidding, 6 hours, we drive every parking garage. I'm sitting there hitting the emergency beep, trying every parking garage, every valet. We're calling people. They're checking cameras. Oh, man. I know I get my car at the end of the night, right? So 6 hours later, we go, and we're just driving past the spot, and all of a sudden we see my car parked in this parking lot, just randomly. Come to find out, I had parked it there because I didn't want my wife to know that I was drunk. So
she knew, baby.
and she's so mad at me. Like, she is so mad at me. And at this point, it's like, I got like the club owners, my manager, my friends, like everybody knows that like this all transpired, right?
Oh,
and that was and at this point, I'm like 35. That sounds ridiculous to say. Like, you're an adult, right?
Yeah.
I'm like 35. And I was like, maybe like I should reassess my life at that point. I didn't, but that was definitely a wake-up call.
It was an eye-opener at least.
It was an eye-opener, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
I want to ask Vice stories. Like, you've traveled, you've been with celebrities. You probably have like millions of stories, but what is one that sticks out? With drinking, and you're like, bro, crazy.
Damn. I'm so glad.
I'm sure there's a bunch of them.
Like, no Snapchat was around yet. No Instagram stories.
Yeah, there's
no pictures of you on the toilet.
No, thank God.
Okay,
thank God.
That's one thing I always said. I was like, man, if someone was able to like replay our craziest nights, we would have stopped drinking a long time ago.
Yeah, 100%.
You would have watched it. I mean, this just hits probably home for DJs. That was like a moment. I was at Tao in the early years. The DJ booth used to be way up top. I don't know if you guys ever been to Tao Vegas.
Like, you go up the stairs?
Yeah. You had to climb up the stairs. It was the penalty box, I would call it. It was like a hockey game, like the penalty. I'd be like, I'm in the penalty box up here because no one can see you. There. You're just like DJing, but you're kind of bummed because the party's down below, and you were like hidden.
That was the first. That was before the remodel.
First few years of Tao.
They brought it down low.
Booths, you guys always describe that, not to sidetrack, but booths seem like that. It's like back in the day. That's how it always
You were
was.
hidden.
Yeah.
XS was in the back of the room, a cut out little window. You were
Where's the
like,
motivation? Like,
you were just because it wasn't about the DJ, it was about the club.
I get it.
We were still just the afterthought, right? We weren't even on the flyer at a lot of these places. So in the early years of Tao, I was, the bottle of the Patron days, I was like, and we're up there by ourselves or a couple friends, we're just like getting hammered, and I blacked out, laptop's there, same thing, valet gives me my car. I don't know how, because I had a place in Vegas at the time. I assume I drove home. Don't ever do this. Don't drive drunk. I drove home. This is before Uber existed in Vegas.
Wow.
And I got back to the house here that I had in Vegas at the time. Woke up the next morning and I was like, whoa, how did I get here? Like, this is wild, right? And I go get my DJ bag. I was like, probably had the Serato, like, oh, let's see what I played, right? And I opened my DJ bag and there's no laptop.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, where's my laptop? And you freak out. It's like losing your child,
It is,
right?
it is.
and you had no backups.
No backups. We're not backing up laptops.
DJs will forget.
Well, I'm saying hard drives are too expensive.
They really were.
We couldn't even we know where our car was. Why would we know where our hard drive is? We're not even responsible enough to know where our car is parked.
Yeah.
So I'm freaking out. I'm calling everyone like, yo, do you have my laptop? Where's my laptop? I'm going to everyone. I'm like, where would my bag's here? Like, why is so I started going around the house. Did I take it out? Blah, blah, blah. And then I get in my car. I'm like, where? I go, maybe it's still in the DJ booth. And I like rush back. It's like 5 p.m. the next day, and I'm like driving back to and maybe it's there. And I like run up to the thing, and my laptop's just there, standing there plugged in on. And I'm like,
Oh my god!
And I was like, oh. My laptop's, I'm by myself, right? And then you have those moments like, what am I doing, dude? Like, I didn't even know how to close my I packed headphones. I was still on turntables. My needles were there. I remembered everything except my laptop. And I like was like freaking out. So I like almost lost my child at that point. That was the first time that I had like a, oh shit moment. I got to clean this up.
Actually, I've had a lot of those almost happen, but my ex-girlfriend, he was always good about checking the booth. My ex-girlfriend's responsible for me not losing my laptop like 4 separate instances. Yeah, so shout out.
Has anyone ever lost their laptop?
I don't know. Yes.
No.
San Francisco. I had to get an Uber to bring it because they were the person who grabbed it. We went to an afters. It was in Oakland, so they got to cross the bridge.
So you got it back.
Yeah, I did, but not lose it completely. But that night, yes.
So I had someone going back to being drunk. We had someone steal my laptop out of a club, and we ended up like finding the guy like 2 days later. But we were all shit faced, and again, like stuff's just sitting there. It's just in the DJ booth. Like anybody could walk up and grab it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Dudes walk in there. His girl's asking for a request or something. You can see on the camera. He just walks up and just grabs it, and we're all like, "Yeah, dude, high five!" And then come to find out, like one of the hosts like knew who the guy was, and we got it back. But so it wasn't like. But again, it's like if I would have been smarter, I would have like zipped it up, put it over here with the light guy or whatever. It's sitting as close to like on camera, like. It's so dumb. Like, it's as close to the doors you could possibly get. Anybody could have walked up at any point and just grabbed the whole backpack, and nobody would even known.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's
scary.
You lost yours?
I've never.
Okay,
thank goodness. And I've always been like a really big fan of Time Machine. So if it ever does happen, I always have a hard drive that's ready to lock and load. I can just go to Apple Store, get another computer, and it's like nothing happened.
I actually haven't backed up in so long, so this is a reminder right now to back up your hard drive right now.
Say it again.
Yeah, back up your hard drive, because I'm talking about a story that was 13 years ago. I didn't have a backup. I still don't have a backup right now. I got to back it up.
So actually, that actually brings up another topic too. It reminds me of when you talked about the Classy Azul sponsorship. So all of a sudden, so actually, I want to back this up a little bit because this is hard to unpack the question, because you made the decision to go sober, right? And was there a point where it was a difficult adjustment to DJ sober again, because you were linear, so drunk for so long DJing?
Yeah.
All of a sudden going back to hard stop sober DJing, was that a gear shift for you, or how did that feel?
For sure. And I'll clarify, because I like to be transparent as possible, that sober is a very interesting word, because I still microdose mushrooms. So that's like my thing. Like,
okay.
And not every gig, but sometimes I'll have like a small little microdose.
Okay.
Because it's like almost like an anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't even have anxiety, but it just kind of like grounds me at times. But like, for instance, like last night I was completely sober. Nothing. At all, zero.
Okay.
I had Red Bull and I was tweaking. Like Red Bull, like coffee doesn't do anything to me, but I had like half a can of watermelon Red Bull, and yesterday I was like, what's going on in here?
Just half?
Before, dude, Red Bull gets me. I was like, that was like before I DJ, and I would like shake it off. I was like, all right, cool, I'm all right now. That's just, Red Bull's like, that's a drug.
So how do you maneuver through your mixes? Like, because you know when you're drunk, like, you said songs sound, we play the same songs. So like, it's like, I want to blow the whistle, pursue the happiness, but it sounds better when you're drunk. So how do you maneuver now, not getting in your head and like, okay, man, because people are dancing less. I feel like the young generation, you're like, man, am I in my head? Am I not doing it right? Nah, I've been in this game. Like, how do you maneuver now through your mixing and your set list and whatnot, being completely sober versus, being the,
Someone gave me a compliment last night. A friend of mine that's kind of a newer friend of mine, like I've known him for like the last 9 months. He's like, bro, I don't know you when you drank, but if I would have just saw you last night, I would have thought you were wasted. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, bro, you were jumping around. You're like, yeah. I was like, he's like, you were in it.
So you still got the energy.
I feel like I'm back to what day one was, where I just wanted to DJ. I was like really dialed in with the crowd. I was like, I want to make I hadn't played XS in years. So I was like, I want to keep this crowd. They were engaged. It was diverse. It's local night, like what we talked about. So you could see tables wanted hip hop. You could see the people on the dance floor are EDM trained. So they're just like this, you know, it's like, it's such a mix, right? And then you can see convention people and you're like, they don't ever go out and they just want to dance to something they know. So you're like, I was like so in it and I was like engaged. I was like dialed in the moment. And I think that was like what gave me the fuel last night. And for many of the nights, because I'm like, oh, this is like what it felt like DJing a wedding again, or a house party, or a my first like little small club. Like I'm trying to read this room, and that's what like I feel my superpower is like reading rooms really well. It's like energy. It's like pulling it back and forth. And now, I'm like, and we see the alcohol decline in sales, like not everyone's drinking. So you're like, you look at the crowd and you're actually eye contacting, like me and you talking last night on the side. We're like, you can connect with so many different people now in different ways. So the music translates a different way as well to me, even though I played a lot of these songs over and over and over. And then it's getting me to get out of my comfort zone and be like, try something else, try something new. Yeah. And you can catch on very fast because you're present that, oh, this isn't working. Oh, this record is working. Oh, wow, I can start adding this song into my set now. Whereas when you're wasted, you're like, I love this song. Don't you love this song? Yeah. And you're like, and then the whole crowd's kind of like, this sucks. Like, what are you playing this for, right?
Yeah.
And then that's true. That's what I feel.
I would say that being drunk is a sledgehammer, being sober is a scalpel. Because when you have that bad vision, like we were talking, when you notice there's corporate people, you notice there's the EDM program people, and you're analyzing that as you're DJing, like literally scanning the crowd, like the Matrix. And when you have that experience level, and you have that knowledge of all your years of DJing, and you're applying it with clear eyes, that what a powerful concept. That's awesome to hear that.
Yeah.
Because it was scary for me too. Because I remember when I first moved to Vegas, and I got an opportunity to be a resident at Tao before COVID. And the music director, was pretty strict, and I had to, because I put Tao on such a pedestal because it's the first club I ever went to. They're one of the biggest trendsetters in nightlife, and here's my chance to play there, and I'm opening up for Gucci Mane and whoever else, and it's amazing. So I'm not going to screw that up getting drunk. So I actually took the self initiative to force myself to be sober in an already high pressure environment where I would normally drink. So it was like a double whammy for me, but I got so nervous up front. And then I realized, like, I'm actually making way better music decisions. I'm making deeper music decisions. So it was a really, I allowed my intelligence to shine as a DJ as opposed to just staying in like my safety blanket of a zone. Like you guys have like safety blanket sets, right? Yes. Everybody has them because these are guaranteed hitters. They're going to just work no matter what. But what happens if you play that next related song that is more of a deep crate selection, right? You're probably not going to do that drunk. You're only going to do that sober, which is ironic because you would think you would take more risks being drunk. And sometimes you do. But I think you make more intelligent risks when you're sober. So I think that's a really important thing that I've discovered about myself. And that's a fairly new discovery too, because I've been DJing for 25 years. So that was a big thing for me.
That's great.
Did you have a hard time? So I remember like the first time that I tried to quit drinking, I just kind of told everybody. It was like, I'm sober now. And it was like, it was so hard because the social pressure at that time was still like, people are like, that means nothing to me. They're still bringing you shots. They're still, the club owners are still bringing you bottles. So then I just fell off the wagon. But then when I really quit, I didn't tell anybody. I just quit. And then I just got really good at like taking shots and spitting them back in glasses and had that beer bottle and hey man, then the next day they're like, dude, we were so fucked up. I'm like, I know, right? That shit was so fun. I went on a jog this morning, but I know what you did. But I mean, it was like, for me, the quitting part, like when I first tried it, it was so hard because of the social aspect of it. Like take the music out, the social part for me was so tough. It was, I couldn't do it. Like I was a failure at it the first time I tried.
I feel, so when I stopped drinking, like we all have like a reason. My reason was family related. It was like we're all coming out of COVID. I think we're still streaming on Twitch. I'll tell my story. We were still streaming on Twitch a little bit. I was on a live stream with, I was on a live stream with DJ Melody and Eric Deluxe, I remember. And I'm on this live stream DJing on this Twitch stream. And I'm like, what are we doing? We're drinking on the stream. I'm like, what are we doing at home right now? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, things are open. Like, I'm in LA still DJing, and I'm like, there's like venues that are open. Why are we on internet? Let's get outside. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah. And I put my headphones down on the stream and I just walk off, right? They're in their own house. They're on their own place. We're not even together. I'm at home by myself. They're there. And then I went upstairs, got ready. And I'm like, I'm going out. Like, the world's open again, right? And my wife's upstairs, my daughter, they're already like going to bed. They're already in bed, I think. And I like get ready, take off, go out the garage, and leave the garage open. And I take off. And this is LA. Things are a little uneasy still. You know,
Protests.
Oh, wow.
All the COVID stuff had just happened.
Yeah.
It was like a little, and I go out and get wasted. And I'm there. I'm at Highlight Room. Doesn't even exist anymore in the Tao Group venue in LA. I'm at Highlight Room. It's like, I look at my Uber. Then it's like a 3 a.m. ride back or something like that. I'm hanging out with the DJs after. I forgot it. I jumped on that night. I was DJing. I was having fun. Right. I get back. When I got back home, the garage is open because my garage setting wasn't set to close automatically or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And I automatically think someone broke in the house. So I'm like, why is my garage open? And I run inside. And I run upstairs to my daughter's room, and she's laying there asleep. And then I run into my bedroom, and my wife like hears the commotion because I'm like, boom, I'm running upstairs, and she's like, what happened? And I'm like, the garage is open, like looking like, is someone in here? And she's like, you left it open. And I was like, oh. And I like, it was just the endangerment of my family, of my daughter asleep, my wife asleep, and our garage door wide open that anyone could just walk into our house at that point, which, wild enough, my house, I still own my house in LA, and someone just broke into that house. It's rented out right now, but like, this is now. Like, it has been uneasy in many ways, but like, so like looking at this picture now, I'm like, man, I endangered my daughter and my wife. Nothing happened, but it was like that. And I haven't drank it. I haven't had a sip of alcohol since that day.
That
was like the boom, you're done.
Wow.
Because it literally was like the warning sign of like, you want it to get worse? Like, look at what this is like. The fear of like me running into my daughter's room and thinking like someone's in my house, it was enough to just stop everything.
Yeah, that was your warning shot, and you listened to it.
And I listened to it.
Man, that's awesome that you took that initiative, and it really is when it hits the family, it hits
When it's the
different.
family, and you're like, you're having fun, and you're like, oh wow, like you left your car, and it's like, yeah, but like I didn't. Yeah, we're driving, and I'm granted no one got hurt the times we drove, but it's like that fear of like, damn, something could have happened to my child now. And I was
Because
like,
it's different when it's you.
Yeah.
Because you're just accountable for yourself, but when you're accountable for other people's safety and responsibility, it's a whole different level of weight.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
that was like that was my breaking point, and I think
that's powerful.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm done, dude. I'm done. And it was
cold turkey, just
zero. I've not had. Of course, like I'm in a club and I have like I do like a soda water on ice or something like that. And I sit and I'm like, oh, wrong drink.
I was gonna ask you that. How do you?
But I don't have that. I don't have that. Ooh, that tasted good. Like I don't. Yeah, it's interesting. I stopped and I like did not like. I don't know. That was a big moment for me. Like, I'm a very family-driven man. I had a son at 19. I have my daughter now is 9 years old. So I have a 26-year-old and a 9-year-old. Like, family has just been engraved in me since I was a 19-year-old kid. I've been a father. So it's like for the first time to endanger a child, being my own child, like me having that fear, it was enough for me to just stop it. Done. Out.
So I guess, so now let's look at the ripple effect of you going cold turkey, because you had a Clase Azul sponsorship, you had business involvement.
Yeah.
This is not just social obligation anymore. This is business obligation.
Yeah.
So how did that conversation go?
Interesting enough, that had just ended 6 months before.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. So it's like, when you see the signs, and maybe this is like some woo-woo shit, but it's like, I mean, the signs were aligning, like all this stuff is stopping and this is gonna happen. Like, do you wanna keep going and see what else happens next? Or do you wanna stop now?
Wow, okay.
Like, that's what I felt.
Yeah.
Like, this thing ended, like, now here this happens, like, wanna push it and see what's next, or do you not? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I don't wanna go any further.
Well, let's zoom out now, because like this is one of the big questions I had for you, is being from, you're one of the leaders of DJing for our entire generation, and you came up in the bottle service culture, right? Being in LA, Vegas, these are the trend-setting cities for bottle culture. Now, as we can see on social media and in firsthand, bottle service and drinking in general is not trendy in the Zoomer crowd, the 16 to 21-year-olds. That's the fresh crop of drinkers and customers that would normally fuel nightclubs. Where do you see nightlife going, and how do you feel that's going to affect DJing over the next 5 to 10 years?
I get excited to see like a lot of the events that are popping up. I mean, it's like coffee and chill. There's like ice plunge. There's 5K morning runs. I saw someone doing like an event. Daybreaker was doing an event in a sauna room in the morning, and it's like that's the next wave of youth that wants to go out and meet someone where, oh, we can actually have a conversation and I'm talking to you and we're not like sloshed and like, you know, it's like they actually want to find someone that has their life together in many ways. So, you know, I've been to like, you know, I DJ'd the Diplo Run club that was in San Francisco. That was an amazing event. Like, Diplo did a 5K run. I ran it with him, and we did, 5K is a 3-mile run through Oracle Park, through Bay Bridge, and I DJ'd for an hour and a half with 14,000 people that had just run a 5K.
Whoa.
And then Diplo went on after me and then played his set, and I was like I got chills because I'm like, damn, we're all waking up like 8, 9 in the like running, and then we're partying after.
Yeah.
Did it feel
Like,
weird? Did it feel like
I loved it. It was like a natural high.
Yeah.
It was a natural high, and I'm like, this is the wave. And he did another one in Seattle, and he has more coming up this year. But it's like, I look forward to like finding community outside. I love nightclubs. That's still going to be in me. I had an amazing time at XS last night, and I still want to find other opportunities outside of that where we can play for like-minded individuals on the same wavelength and frequency that we're vibrating on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's literally a lifestyle change, and you're still able to take your career into a new lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's actually transferring, which is beautiful, actually, because you're meeting people in a whole different environment that care about their wellness as opposed to just getting turned up.
Yeah.
Because we were all kind of like on that hive mind of getting turned up for so long. Now it's like, now we're taking care of ourselves and we can still have a good time. What a concept.
And look at some of we're in, the biggest entertainment capital as far as for nightlife in Las Vegas in the US, right? And it's like, you go down to some of the biggest, highest paid headliners on this strip, they're not drinking. A lot of these other DJs, maybe they're not public about it, but a lot of these top paid A-list EDM DJs, they're not drinking.
Yeah, there's too much on the line. I mean, when you're getting paid $250 a night, you can't really afford to screw up.
Yeah.
And there was a point too. Like, I have friends with a bottle service manager, and he always gave me the inside scoop on some of these big names, and some of them did get lost in the sauce too. Like coming back to the EDM guys, not all of them, but there was a few that really, really got caught up. And hearing stories about lost jewelry, very expensive things that were getting lost, and it was just a chaotic scene where they'd have like 40 people that roll up in the club. They'd be all in a suite together, and it would just get insane. And there was a lot of endangerment there because we're talking about super high profile individuals that have to be somewhere else the next day. If they get on a private jet, then they come into Vegas, and all of a sudden it's just a tornado of insanity. So I think at first they were very quick to give a Magnum bottle of Goose to whoever was on stage. And then they realized that's a liability. We can't afford to have that person get caught up like that because we're paying them so much money. This is an insurance problem.
Our phones are out.
Now everything's documented.
Everything.
Like you do that, and like everyone, it's on Instagram, it's on Snapchat, it's in forever. Yeah. Like once it hits the web, it's never going away.
Yeah.
I was meaning to ask about your wellness because you've always been a runner. So how has your health gotten better? What's the big difference between when you were drinking and not drinking, like being there more present for your family, just everything overall in your life? Like, what are some major differences that you've seen?
Clarity. Like, just the clarity that I have of where I want to take my career, how I want to spend my time, even the people I want to surround myself with. You shed a lot of skin when you're able to get clear and be like, oh, wow, like all this junk around me is kind of like clearing out, and all the people that are around you just to drink are gone. Like, so you actually have people that want to be around you for you and for what you're doing and supporting you. So it's like the bottle rats are kind of like cut off,
It's crazy, like during COVID, how many, like when, clubs shut down and you had this big group of people and then you kind of were locked in your house for a little while, how many people didn't come back into your circle after that? It was crazy to me how many people were just around me or just around our group of people simply because they could get into the club and drink. Yeah. But at the second that ended, so did they.
Yeah.
And it's weird too because and I hate to say this, but I kind of didn't think about them either. All of a sudden you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, Joe's not here anymore, or
Wow.
Steve's
Yeah.
not here. What happened to Todd or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like you just realize that they're just not there, and you realize why they were there in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, it's really eye opening.
Well, and I actually have a question for you, especially on that hard line, because you did take a hard line. There was no gradient fade away on the drinking for you. It was just stop, right?
Yeah.
And I still struggle with this. So I'm actually asking this man to man, like, how do you deal with that pressure? Because you had to have experienced some serious pressure because people weren't caught, they're probably caught off guard by you not drinking anymore,
my
right?
question too.
So how do you deal with that? And how do you manage
Yeah.
it so they respect it and you could still keep the energy up with those people? Because you still have to be a cheerleader of sorts.
Yeah.
But how are you doing that with that lifestyle shift?
I came to terms with the fact that I'm a people pleaser. I first admitted
That makes you a great DJ, though.
I
entertainer,
admitted that
though.
to myself. I'm a people pleaser. I was drinking for everybody else. I was drinking because it was making everybody else happy. The same way I'm talking about, like, I wanted to make the dance floor happy. Now I wanted to make everyone else around me happy. And at the same time, I'm having fun too. But it's like, you want to drink? And it's like, oh yeah. And it's like, you're happy. Okay, now I'm doing it for everybody. And I came to terms with, like, I'm a people pleaser, and that's what I needed to, like, stop. I needed to stop that. And when people would ask me, like, from that first day on, it wasn't, oh, I'm not drinking. It was, I don't drink.
So when someone asks you,
It's just, I don't drink.
it's just like that. How do you handle? Like, do you have anything? Any like tactics or anything?
I mean, sometimes I would have a soda water thing, but even if not, the difference of just looking someone in the eye, I'm like, I don't drink,
They're like, all right, we get it.
and they're like, they kind of don't question that.
They
Yeah,
don't.
It's kind of a lot like
Yeah.
when you say I don't drink. You don't know if someone has a problem. You don't know what it is.
'Cause it's
And
as
if
opposed to,
someone's
I'm
on
not
you like that,
drinking.
Yeah.
you know what their motive is.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
they want it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
want to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Not you. Like, they want you to be part of whatever they're going
Exactly.
through.
Yeah.
And when you just say then, and I was able to, like, come to terms with, like, I just gotta look people in the eye and be like, I don't drink.
To piggyback off that real quick, when you have friends or people in the booth, and do you still bring a bottle in the booth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. I want all them to
Okay,
have
no,
good
I'm
times.
just asking. Like, there's some EDM DJ that, like,
my
bro, I
rider
can't
still
have
has
anything
alcohol.
around me, bro. Like, yeah.
Last
shoes
night,
have to come off.
bro, last
after
night there were
therapy.
shots all over, and I had like I diluted some Red Bull, and I was like, let's go. Like,
You still keep that.
it's still ceremonial, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's still like,
Yeah.
it's still part of the vibe and the feeling. Like, and some people are like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm drinking. I'm like, bro, drink all you want.
Yeah.
I just know for
okay.
me where I'm at in my life. Like, I'm happy that everyone on the dance floor is drinking. I'm happy tables are popping and going off. I literally will still say on the mic, who's drinking tonight?
Yeah.
But it's not about me. It's about y'all.
Yeah.
We became DJs for everyone to have a good time, like, for everyone to keep the party. So if it's they want to drink, like, have a great time, get wasted, get wheelchaired out, lose your car, do whatever you got. Do whatever you got to
Yeah.
do.
In
the stall.
I know my role is to create memories and a moment for you, and I want to do my job now. Like, I want to do what I'm here to do.
Right.
And you're losing your mind because you might have a high stress lifestyle, kids, jobs. You're on a corporate weekend out in Vegas, and you're back home. This is like, wow, like, I can't imagine being in a nightclub. And you're in the nightclub now, and you're like a 9-to-5er with kids, and you're like, whoa, like, have fun. I'm gonna give you that experience, and I want you to be so, like, I want you to be so in the moment because of what I'm providing for you. That's what I want. And now I'm like, I can do that fully to my best potential now because I'm just clear at what I'm doing.
Without any body sacrifice either.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's actually, I did feel that obligation. I felt like I had to put that burden on my own body because, like, to do exactly what everyone else is doing, especially when I lived in China, because, like, there is that social culture of, like, hey, Gumbay, we got to drink right now.
Yeah.
Drink, shake dice, drink for like literally a half a bottle of whiskey in 15 minutes. And so that's how you start your night.
Yeah.
So then, and actually they get insulted. So that's another thing I had to deal with too, is like navigating, actually avoiding certain people because, like, they're coming in one night of the week. I'm there 4 days a week because, like, we're doing this as a job. They're just doing it recreationally. So that was another thing I really dealt with, is like that bodily, it's cultural bodily sacrifice. And I actually had to quit my job there. That's why I moved to Vegas. I used Vegas as rehab.
That's crazy.
To put that in perspective, Shanghai is
Makes
that much
no
more
sense,
intense.
but okay.
Yeah,
Does
so
that
that's,
affect your bookings at all? Like, any of you guys that have gone sober, like, affected, like a top guy saying, oh, he doesn't drink, I don't want him here no more. I don't know, just
I experienced that a few times, especially in Florida, because you become such good friends with other people that
Yeah.
are just so into getting lit that they don't see you as you don't fit the form factor anymore.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's just not one of us anymore. Yeah, they kind of pull back a little bit. You see that.
Yeah.
But that also shows you didn't really have a good relationship with these people. You were just a toy in their toy box. So that really became like an eye opener too. Like, wow, you don't really value me as a human being. You just value the insanity that I happen to bring at the time. So that was kind of like so if somebody doesn't care about your well-being, you probably shouldn't be doing business with them.
You want somebody to be booking you because of who you are as a human and your skills, right? Your talent, not for them to be booking you to soak in their misery, or if that's what they want you to do, like,
or actually get you so messed up they used you as a spectacle. They thought it was hilarious that you got so trashed.
That's crazy.
They could laugh about you later.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I actually had to deal with because I got the reputation of being Mr. Party Boy down in my town because I'd be out on the nights I wasn't working. There was industry nights Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so I'd be out getting crazy, and then so by the time Friday came around, people are kind of like laughing. Like, oh man, you were crazy. Whoa.
Yeah.
So that was another thing I had to deal with too, is like that, okay, wow, like now I'm not being appreciated for who I am. I'm just being appreciated as a spectacle.
One small mental thing I would do, like just like as like a strength builder, like the nights when I first, because I really feel it's like the 3-month window that's tough at first when you're not drinking and DJing.
Yeah.
Because you're adapting to being like, all right, I gotta do this, and I gotta figure out how to read this room and play and not have that one song that you're like, oh, this isn't working, let me take a shot and then I'll be better, right? Because that was what I would do. Like if something wasn't working, you take a shot and you're like, all right, we're back, we're in this day.
Yep.
And I would like, in those first 3 months, and still, I mean, even to this day, I would be like, every time I leave a gig, I would be like, it's like going to the gym. I got a little bit stronger. Every time I would leave, I got a little bit stronger. All right, I'm a little bit stronger now. Wow. Oh, damn, I'm a little bit stronger. And now it's like Matrix. I'm just like, I'm dodging it all. Like, this is easy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's no problem at all. But I would remind myself and thank myself, like, yo, you did good. Like, you got stronger. Because we go to the gym, right? And we don't see any result every time we're there.
That's true.
But you're getting a little bit stronger every time. So I feel that was like my mental state of leaving gigs. Like, damn, you did it. A little stronger.
That's amazing.
Feels good at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Getting home, steak and eggs, or getting home, or on that flight not hungover, man.
And not eating that terrible grimy meal that you thought was so good.
Oh, yeah.
Or the hangover on the flight.
Yeah, or in LA, there were danger dogs. It's like hot dogs wrapped in bacon. And I'm like, yeah, this is good.
$20.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Has it gotten easier?
Yeah, man. I love
those 3 months were like after the 3 months is just
Okay. I'm free flowing now. I love it. I am as clear as I can be as far as like DJing wise. Like I told you, a friend of mine that was like, yo, you look like you were wasted last night. You're having a time of your life DJing. And I was like, I was excited to be back at XS.
Yeah.
I was excited to play a room and figure it out. I was excited to like play a bunch of new music. I by the way, another thing I did too, right when I stopped drinking, there's another little trick that I did, was I switched to record box. So I thought
you're on sticks.
I'm on sticks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I thought, well, if I'm gonna stop drinking, then I'll get off Serato and I'll go to record box because it'll make me mentally be engaged with DJing even more. Wow. Because those last minute decision DJing that I would do, like you're just in your comfort zone. It's like jumping on the couch and putting on Netflix, right? It's like now I'm like, oh my God, I'm like coding right now. Like, what am I doing? Because it's like 15 plus years of being on Serato, and I literally left my laptop and I went straight to sticks, and I only used sticks right when I like stopped drinking.
Wow.
So I was so engaged in DJing, I didn't even think about drinking too.
Yeah. See,
I didn't have time to entertain shots and talk to people.
Yeah.
And in those little moments of being like, I don't drink, I'm like turning right back and I'm trying to figure out how to scroll and how to use these CDJ 3000s and typing like this and like doing all, my brain was just firing off the whole time, and I was back into being like a DJ again.
Wow. So it really did come full circle. Like you said, I think it was kind of a beautiful phrase how you said you started for the love and you're back to it.
Yeah,
with all of your experience that along for the ride. So, and it's funny because I'm actually learning record box right now too.
A trick I did too is you go to Serato and you go to your history and you go to like the last year, 2 years, whatever, and just put that music into record box because you're like,
because you're like, say that again. Say that again for the camera.
So the trick that I would do is when I switched from Serato to record box, I went into Serato and I took just my history from the last like 2 years. All that music, I would switch it and move it into record box and just make sure all my cues and all that. And I put that on a USB.
Yeah.
And so I started DJing on record box just with my Serato history of 2 years.
Oh, man.
And then I would be like, if I need a song, I would go over my phone and write down that extra song that I needed. So I would build it out.
Oh, I like
Instead
that.
of just taking my whole Serato and having it on a stick.
I'm putting that in the memory bank because like that's actually
crazy.
a great tip because you know it's a banger if you already played it.
Yeah.
But in the last 2 years, you don't need much of the other music.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
And then little by little, you add other music into your stick. Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
How about sober showmanship? Like, you've always been an eccentric guy on the mic, hyping it up. Did you at first struggle like, oh man, I'm sober right now, I'm not really feeling the energy yet?
Yeah.
Did that affect it at first? Because now you seem like you're good now. Like
I'm good now.
But at first, was it hard, the showmanship? Like, I kind of
Yeah, for sure. Those first
you
3
seem
months.
a little like intense. Yeah.
Those first 3 months, I was just like bench pressing the bar. No weights on it. I was like, just like this, going like this, like that's it. And then eventually, little by little, because I came from also a radio background, so I'm always been comfortable on the mic and stuff like that. But yeah, it took a little bit of time and to be able to like. Because when I was drinking, so I would cut the music and talk and like drop stuff, and now I'm back to that. I can do those moments and like and be comfortable.
That's
and I'm
hard to do
comfortable
that.
saying like, "Who's drinking tonight?" Like, they should be drinking, right? They're having it if they want. They're having a good time. Like we're entertainers, right? There's like the showmanship too. It's like it's entertainment. We're supposed to be entertaining.
100%.
Like that's it. Yeah. So
No, 100%.
That's awesome. And seriously, I think one of the biggest eye openers here is we have a lot of parallels. Mm-hmm. This profession brings us on a very similar path. It's just we're all obviously have our own personalities that adapt with it. But it's good to know that like anybody watching, you're not alone if you're dealing with this stuff. And it's like don't be afraid to reach out and talk to a friend that you trust. Because a lot of times you feel like you're by yourself dealing with these things because it's not relatable. But we're all, as you can see by this table just alone, we've all been through it in our own ways. So if anybody's dealing with this or struggling with it at the moment, feel free to reach out because I invite that conversation. I'm always happy to help some individual that might be dealing with it. So this is a really important topic because we're talking about our health here. No health, no wealth, right?
Right.
So that's why I think it was really, really, really awesome to share all these stories. And seriously, guys, thank you for just being able to open up a little bit yourselves. And I really appreciate the stories. So I mean, it's this is Late Night Legends. This is what it's all about. So and obviously we got to wrap it up for today's show.
Like that.
But seriously, all you guys, thank you for being on the show once
Device,
again.
man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
This is our legend right here. Late Night Legend for real.
Cheers.
Thank you, Vice, for coming in. We
Yeah,
appreciate
always,
you.
bro.
Yeah, man.
DJ Exile.
Late Night Legends, baby.
Yeah.
Late Night Legends, Late Night Legends. Direct from Vegas, it's the Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends, Late Night Legends. Club killers, let's go. Late Night Legends.